Hi there, and thank you for joining UnSCRIPted. I'm Angela Kashuba, Dean of the UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy. We have an amazing community here at the school, all working toward a shared goal of solving the world's most pressing healthcare challenges. I'm excited for you to hear unscripted stories of our faculty, staff, students, alums, and partners. Today, I have invited Megan Wolff, one of our fourth-year pharmacy students, to my office for a conversation. Welcome, Megan, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
So your journey to pharmacy started with a career test in high school.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Sure, yeah. So in high school, they were trying to get us to, brainstorm what we'll be majoring in college. And they had us all take a career test as a class. And I actually got pharmacist as, I think, either my second or third choice. And it was really intriguing to me because I didn't know much of what a pharmacist does or is. I only had experience with them occasionally when I felt sick and I would go to Walgreens and pick up an antibiotic. So I tried to do some more research, like what does that mean to be a pharmacist? And at the time, actually, my best friend's sister was about to start pharmacy school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I reached out to her and she convinced me just the amazing things that pharmacists can do and the many opportunities that you get with that degree.
Okay, that's terrific. So where did you grow up?
I'm from a small town called Punta Gorda, Florida. A lot of people don't know where that is when I say that in North Carolina. So I usually say Fort Myers, Sarasota, Tampa area.
Okay.
But nice South Florida, little retirement town, I like to say.
Yeah. Now, you started pharmacy school in the fall of 2020. And that was kind of the height of the pandemic, right? Can you talk about that experience?
Yeah, it was very challenging.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I'm from Florida, so I'm not from North Carolina. I didn't have any connections to North Carolina. So when I moved here, I was starting completely fresh. And it was tough because, like you mentioned, it was during COVID. So a lot of stuff was shut down and there was a lot of laws on where you could or couldn't go. So it was a little hard to be in my room, but I found a community pretty quickly at Carolina, and I think that's what really helped me get through that year and feel that support.
Yeah. So going through the pandemic, has that influenced the way you practice or the way you approach healthcare?
It definitely was a hard point of time, the pandemic, but I think a lot of good, if you could say that, came out of it, just because there's so much more access to patients. We got really good at virtual visits. People that can't really, get out of the house, get all the way to the clinic, sit there in the waiting room and all this stuff, maybe getting exposed to people that might be sick. Now we can just take care of them in their own home, which is great. And I feel like we became very innovative when we had the pandemic. So if anything good came out of it, I think just the innovation that we came up with to help patients.
No, I love that. So was there anything that surprised you during your time in the pharmacy school?
Yeah, I didn't realize how close you become with everybody. Coming from undergrad, I went to a big undergrad. It was about like 40,000 students. And I felt like kind of a number in a classroom. I'd sit with 300 kids in a classroom and I didn't really get to know the professors or anything. But coming here, you get to know everybody and you become like a little family. I know it's so cheesy to say.
It works though,
but it works. And that was just such a great surprise that you have that support system of everyone going through something kind of a tough curriculum, but there's so much support there out there for you.
Yeah.
The professors here really want to see you succeed. And that's what I always tell people who'll contact me and ask me about, Carolina, if they're looking at pharmacy schools. I always tell them you'll never find faculty that want to help you anywhere else more than here.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, you did one of our global rotations. You're a global pharmacy scholar.
Yes.
And we are just celebrating 10 years of global pharmacy scholars, which is awesome. So tell us about your global experience.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to pick Carolina. It came on my radar is because I didn't get to study abroad during my undergrad time. I think I was just too focused on getting those prereqs done for pharmacy school. So when I saw that was an opportunity here, I was ecstatic. So when it was coming to that time to apply and I was looking at all the places that you could go, what I really wanted to do was have a challenge, go somewhere where I would be totally immersed in a different culture. So I ranked Japan as my option, and I got it, and I was so excited. So I never traveled out of the country before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Japan was my first place. So
That's a very ambitious place to go.
Yeah.
So talk about the experience that you had with the healthcare system over there. Did you see patients? I mean, what was your time there like?
Yeah, it was amazing. The times where I did get to visit the hospitals was really interesting. They don't have pharmacy technicians there. That sort of role does not exist. So pharmacists fill that role. So when I went down to the hospitals to see like how dispensing and the operations work, it's like a lot of pharmacists that you see kind of doing that work. And they don't really have anything that resembles like a clinical pharmacist over there. So they were very interested in hearing what we had to say too. So as much time as I spent learning when I was over there, I felt like I also kind of taught them a little bit about our culture and kind of what our curriculum's like and what pharmacists can do over in America. And it was very rewarding.
Yeah, so were you in a hospital setting, a community setting, a clinic setting?
Yeah, so each week was a little different. The first week they had us with the KO University students, so I got to spend a week kind of in their classroom and kind of what their curriculum would look like. Okay. The second week they would have us travel to the different hospitals, so I got to see the Children's Hospital, the Cancer Center that they have over there, the Women's Hospital. I also went out to Gunma, which is outside of Tokyo. It's a rural area, so I got to see how their rural medicine works as well. And then another week we spent in the community, so we would go to like retail type pharmacies, and they have a lot of traditional Japanese medicine intermingled with the medicine that we get to learn about in school. So that was also very interesting to see how they incorporate natural medicine in with what we kind of know as like the medicine that we think of. And they look at them and value them equally. The physicians will write a prescription, and it's kind of like, it doesn't even have to be one certain thing. It'll be a mixture of a bunch of different herbs. And it's the pharmacist's job to compound those herbs, and they let me do that for one of them. So they had to read me what it said because I don't read Japanese, but you find it off the wall and you put it in this big bowl and you kind of like mix it all together. And then they have a machine that compacts it into tea, and they actually take it home and they boil it and drink it that way.
Oh, well, that's fascinating. I understand that you also made a few friends in Japan and that they came to visit you here.
Yes.
So can you tell me what sort of experiences you exposed them to here in Chapel Hill?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the program, was that we got to go over to Japan and they matched us up with the two girls that switched and came over for a month in Chapel Hill. So they were so welcoming and took me everywhere when I was in Japan and helped me through a lot of stuff. So I wanted to show that same hospitality when they came here. So I made sure that whoever was in charge of picking them up from the airport, that I was going to join, because I wanted them to see a familiar face when they landed. And I wanted to just immerse them into our culture, kind of like how they did with me. So I took them to a Carolina football game. I took them to the Durham Bulls baseball game. They love baseball. I took them to Carolina Brewery to get a cheeseburger.
Oh, perfect.
They loved it. And I just wanted to kind of show them the same kind of warmth that they showed me when I was visiting over there.
Oh, I love that. What advice do you have for new students who are coming into our program?
I would just always suggest to them, get involved in the school, find what you are passionate about, find those people that are also passionate about those same things, and rely on them to help you get through it. Yeah,
that's great advice. So in terms of finding your people, what organizations were you involved in? Like, how did you find your people?
Great question. So since I was in the pandemic, I kind of wanted to do it all because I wanted to find that program that would ignite my passions that I have. So I joined CAPS, I joined SCCP, I joined PDC, and I joined the Recruitment Ambassador Program. And those were kind of my focus areas, but I felt like I really found that community in the PDC fraternity, just because you get access to students from the whole years. So I wasn't just with my first year students those years. I could see the second years and the third years and the fourth years. And there's nobody who gives better advice than the people that have been through it. So it was really nice to have those older students to kind of ask questions to and get advice on how to navigate the first year, because it can be a little challenging.
Right. That's great advice. Okay. So with all of the things that you've been involved in and everything that you've been doing, what were you able to do for fun or for relaxation?
Yeah, I have been converted to a huge Tar Heel fan. So any sport event that I can go to, I'm there. Whether it's a football game or a basketball game or even a soccer game, I try to go to as many games. I just like the school spirit part of it. I like that energy that it brings. And that's where I like to spend my time.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite? What's been your favorite sport to watch?
Has to be basketball, right? Has to be basketball. It has to be when we play Duke. Just the energy on Franklin Street is unmatched.
That's
it's
true.
Just amazing. So my favorite place to be. That's favorite time of the year.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining me today. This has been a real pleasure to talk to you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
That you
and
have
thank you
for
for
the
having
future.
me.
And I want to thank you all for watching. We love sharing stories of those who make the UNC Eshelman School of Pharmacy excellent. We hope you will join us for the next episode of UnSCRIPted, conversations with the people who are advancing medicine for life.